There are 38 heroes in Deadlock, and 37 of them have incredible gameplay designs. They're really fun to play, they have coherent kits that make a lot of sense and have counterplay, and even if some of them get on your nerves, you can at least respect that they have a design that makes sense and is overall fair in the grand scheme of things. And then there's the topic of this video. The magnificent Sinclair is, in my opinion, the worst designed character in all of Deadlock. Now before we get started, I know that this is a very bold claim, and I'm going to get a lot of hate from Sinclair players, but also players who think that someone like Moe and Krill, Bebop, or Shiv is a worse design than Sinclair. And listen, you're all entitled to your opinions, I absolutely respect them, leave them in the comments section down below, and try to keep things polite. But this is my opinion, I'm standing up here on my soapbox and declaring that I really just don't like Sinclair, and I want to rant about him in this video because I think he is the most abrasive character design in this entire game. He just pushes all my buttons, and there's a reason I ban him in every single match I play. Also, another disclaimer, I actually think Sinclair's character design, that is his visuals, his backstory, his sound design, all that, I think it's amazing. It's actually a really cool story. Two people trapped in the same body, married to each other, but they hate each other, and all they want to do is summon the patrons so they can get a divorce. It's such a cool concept. I love how it's executed. I think it's really cool, and I think Sinclair deserves to be in this game, but oh my gosh, his abilities need a rework. I can't stand them! So what makes Sinclair the worst character design in the game? Well, first, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. This man and woman's ultimate. Ugh. It's ridiculous. Okay, so this guy gets to copy anyone else's ultimate on the enemy team. Intrinsically, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Every game has their Echo-type character that's able to steal an ability from the enemy team, and a lot of ultimates are actually kinda crap for Sinclair to copy. Like, if Sinclair walks up to a Haze and copies her ultimate, he's gonna do nothing, because most Sinclair players don't build for gun damage, and he also doesn't have fixation stacks, so it's gonna be abysmal dog water. But what I have a problem with is the cooldown. You mean to tell me that this guy gets to copy Dynamo's ultimate, arguably the most powerful ultimate in the entire game, and the cooldown is only 40% of what Dynamo has to pay? Dynamo's ultimate cooldown is the longest in the game, it's more than 200 seconds, and Sinclair gets to have that on like 100 seconds or less? In what world does that make sense? In what world is that good game design that you get to copy two Dynamo ults in the same time span that Dynamo only gets to use one, and he won't even have his back by the time the second Dynamo ult is over? Now apparently, the reason why this cooldown is so low is because Deadlock doesn't have a draft. Sinclair can't choose what opponents he's up against, and so he might just end up in a lobby with terrible ultimates for him to steal. But I think that at this point in time, especially after the last 6 heroes got added to the game, there's always going to be at least one character whose ultimate is amazing to copy on the enemy team, and so I don't see any good reason why this cooldown has to be as low as it currently is. At the very least, if you want to make the argument that he shouldn't have to pay 100% of the cooldown penalty, at least make it something like 80%. 40% is just stupid. It's just stupid. Why does he get 2 times the amount of ults as everyone else in the lobby? He gets to steal Dynamo ult twice, Dynamo only gets 1 ult, like, this just does not make sense. And I suppose another reason why they decided to make the cooldown this way is because Dynamo doesn't get to synergize with some ults as well as the actual characters. Lash ult, for example, is still an excellent ult for Sinclair to steal because it's just intrinsically really powerful, but he doesn't get to do the follow-up slam. However, Sinclair gets to do some unique things that other characters don't due to his kit, which I think balances it out. And this mostly has to do with his assistant. His assistant allows him to deploy a Spectre some distance away, and then teleport to it whenever he wants. He can move as far away from the assistant as he wants, and then teleport back in an instant. And this allows him to get up to some insane tomfoolery. Steal an ultimate, teleport to the assistant, and use it on somebody. Or, in the case of something like Paradox's ult, he can cast the ult, teleport, and pull someone way way farther away than Paradox would ever normally be able to do. He can steal Infernus's ultimate, activate it, and then place his assistant right in the middle of the enemy team, teleport to it, and just explode on them. Infernus can't do that. I mean, he has his dash, but teleportation is a totally different beast. Sinclair's ultimate is the crux of so much frustration I have with this character, and the biggest part of it is genuinely just that he gets to spam it. I don't think he deserves to have 2 times the amount of ults as everybody else. But now let's talk about the other parts of his kit. Let's move to the Vexing Bolts now. Why are these things able to turn into atomic bombs? Like, the damage that these do is just absurd. Every single time he hits you, it feels like you're taking half your health pool in damage if you don't invest in all of the spirit damage reduction items. Now sure, they're hard to hit, and you can dodge roll and counterspell them, and yeah, there's counterplay. Honestly, the Vexing Bolts are a much tamer part of his kit, but still, these things hit like absolute trucks. Like, are we sure this is okay? Especially because, due to some targeting jank, he can even fling those things behind walls and blast you when you think you're safe, which that's not very fun either. But on the flip side, as someone trying to get into Sinclair, these are the most obtuse projectiles in the game to try and get used to because they're just so awkward to play around. They feel telegraphed, they feel awkward, and I just don't ever have fun using them. They just feel really weird. They probably don't need a rework, it's definitely a skill issue, but like, I'm gonna rant about it anyways because it's part of Sinclair's kit and I hate that guy. How about that assistant though? Hey, I'm not done with you. Why does the assistant have auto-aim? Genuinely serious question, why does it have auto-aim? Like, should it not just aim at what Sinclair is aiming at? Why does Sinclair get to aim in the general direction of an enemy, miss his shots completely, but still have the assistant deal damage? Why doesn't the assistant just miss? Why does it not work like Loki from Marvel Rivals, where it genuinely just aims at whatever you're aiming at? That just feels so much more fair. Like, you have to do that with the Vexing Bolts, why don't you have to do that with your primary fire? It's just cheap free damage. But the other thing I've had a problem with for the longest time is the Rabbit Hex. This thing is a mess. An actual proper mess. This ability sometimes feels like it's his second ultimate. It's an extremely big hex, it turns you into Bunny for several seconds and you take a bunch of damage. But other times it feels like you're actively trolling yourself when you use it, because it turns them into bunnies that are small, and also way faster than they are at base, and so sometimes you just flat out can't hit them. Other times, you might try to bunny hex someone while you're retreating, so that way, you know, they can't shoot you, but because you gave them a movement speed boost, they end up catching up to you easier than if you hadn't turned them into a rabbit hex, which just feels totally counterintuitive. Sinclair's projectiles are already hard enough to hit, and then he just makes it even harder on himself by turning people into a bunny. It's just really weird game design. Now, of course, the rabbits are powerful, and I'm not saying that they should be like slow, giant moving targets. That would be absurd too. They genuinely do feel like a second ultimate to me. You mean to tell me that I can just polymorph the entire enemy team potentially if I get that AoE big enough? And they all just take so much more bonus damage? Like, I don't know, that just feels extremely weird. And another thing that just feels really, really jank about the bunnies is that they don't actually interrupt channeled abilities. So you'll turn Kelvin into a bunny expecting him to just be a harmless little rabbit, but because he started channeling Ice Beam before you turn him into a bunny, he's still able to just blast you. Which, I mean, okay, maybe the Rabbit Hex would be too strong if it stunned people out of these abilities, but the fact that it doesn't just feels buggy in a way that it's kind of hard to pin down, but it doesn't feel right, even if it is working 100% as intended. Now, I know that there is a ton of counterplay to Sinclair. With the Vexing Bolts, you have a ton of spirit damage reduction, you have counterspell, you can dodge out of the way, you have to be cognizant of the bolts and all that. With the Assistant, just slap a slowing hex on him and he can't teleport to it, and ultimately the damage isn't that crazy unless you're explicitly building for it, but nobody does that anyways. For the Rabbit Hex, you can counterspell it, you can get out of the way in time, and while you're a bunny, you can still move around really erratically to try to make yourself hard to hit. And for his ultimate, just stay away from him if you're playing Dynamo, and if he does steal your ultimate, calm it to your team, tell them to spread out, and buy counterplay items, buy stuns and stuff to knock him down, silence him so he can't use his abilities. There is a lot of counterplay, but the nature of his abilities just irritates me to no end in a way that no other character in this game does. It's really frustrating. I know I'm not alone in this, and I do know that there are other characters that push people's buttons equally as hard, like Bebop, Moe and Krill, Shiv, Doorman. They all have their annoying things, but out of all of these characters, Sinclair absolutely tops the charts for me as the character that I can't stand playing against, and so I will ban him in every single match. And if I do have to play against him, I will whine about it every single time. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Do you agree that Sinclair is ridiculously obnoxious and not magnificent in any way, shape, or form? Or do you think another character deserves the title of being the worst Deadlock character? While you're down there, of course, make sure to drop a like on this video or dislike the video if you didn't like it. Hey, I'm okay with that. And subscribe for more controversial opinions from me. But with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out.